we're going to be talking about the nodes of the moon and what they are, where they've been, where they have moved to. And it's really a cool thing to track and to notice because, like anything in astrology, it all seems complicated until you find one thread. And then when you find that one thread that makes sense to you, kind of starts to, it all starts to come together a little bit. There's still things that confuse me, and I've been studying astrology for 20 some years or something. Hi, if you're just joining me, we're talking about the nodes of the moon switching signs. So the nodes of the moon they're a point in the sky. They actually aren't a planet or a planetary body. They are a calculation for telling us when and where the eclipses will be happening. Now, let that go for a minute, okay? So let that go for a minute and understand that they're connected to the eclipses. When you can understand that the nodes of the moon are connected to the eclipses, and typically, though not always, because this is how astrology works, typically the eclipses that we will have during this time period, so we're looking at now, we just had the North Node move into Taurus and the South Node move into Scorpio. So for the next 18 months or so, we will be having the eclipses in either Taurus or Scorpio. And there'll either be a North Node eclipse in Taurus, or they will be a South Node eclipse in Scorpio. Now, in astrology, in ancient astrology, the North Node is considered the dragon's head, the South Node is considered the dragon's tail, and they are just basically points in the sky where we're looking at the eclipses. And when we understand that, and we understand that a North Node eclipse is bringing us towards our future self, is bringing in information, insight, and wisdom to direct our lives and to move us forward. And the South Node eclipses are clearing out, purging, allowing us to gain the wisdom that's already there and maybe see it in a different way, but not much new comes in. It's typically a purge point. And so that's what the eclipses are. When we look at this, we're looking at where the North Node in Taurus and the South Node hi, if you're just joining me, we're talking about the nodes of the moon, where the South Node in Scorpio is transiting your birth chart. This is going to give you so much good information. And another cool piece to this is to understand that, yes, we're talking about eclipses and in the ecliptical calculation. But in a metaphysical sense, we're talking about the energy of the collective, being drawn into our dharma, purging and releasing our past together, because we're here together. We're experiencing a lot of the same lessons together. And therefore, when you can understand that, it helps you to not only relate to others and have more compassion, but also have self-compassion and direction for the next 18 months. So when you look at these cycles of the nodes, and the North Node being in Taurus, this is happening, it just switched, and it's going to be happening until 2023. And it was happening in 2003 and 2004, so you can look back to that theme. It was transiting your house at that time, the North Node in Taurus, the South Node in Scorpio, and certain themes came forward, certain lessons came through, certain things needed to be cleared out, certain things needed to come in. And even though we're all about that growth and evolution and expansion, it won't be the same lessons, but you can guarantee there's going to be similar themes. And when we're talking about this, it's helpful to understand that any predictions, why I didn't do predictions this year for the astrology for 2022, is because Uranus is so active this year and going to be conjunct the North Node. And when that happens, it is absolutely unpredictable. The fact that all of the North Node eclipses that we will have will be in Taurus this year, and therefore unpredictable, guiding us to the unknown. So there's no point in really having predictions this year. What is important, and why I did year ahead readings for individuals, is to look at your specific chart and understand your specific lessons around Taurus themes. What are the Taurus themes? your finances, your money, your values, your morals, your like physical body, but the space that you hold. It has to do with fertility, and beyond fertility, it's like creating the healthy environment for fertility to happen, right? For the egg to be, the sperm and the egg to come together. Like if it's in a hostile environment, then it's not going to happen, right? And so how are we creating spaces in our life, in our sanctuary, in our physical sense, in our home, where fertility can happen in our money, in our work, in our relationships, in our literal fertility for some people, right? So sustenance, our food and our food systems, this is huge and will be a theme in 2022. Also around food, nutrients and how people think of nutrition and think of food as the medicine, that kind of thing. Fashion is always a thing with a Venusian ruled sign such as Taurus, but it can also have to do with kind of looking at fashion in a new way, and how some of the things that are popular in right now are really toxic to not only the world, but to each other, and to how we treat humans. So there is that theme. This all being said, it's going to have a unique spin based on your specific astrology. And there's so many different things in your chart that can be interacting with this, causing it to have its own effect on you, right? So if it's at your rising, if it's at your midheaven, it's going to have a whole different thing than if it's kind of somewhere more hidden, like your 8th house. So look at that, understand that. If you want to dive into this more, this is part of what we do in working with me one-on-one. And also I just have a ton of other free resources that you can look on my YouTube in particular, around videos around this. But yeah, like just get curious, start to learn and start to understand, look at certain cycles. Not only was it transiting in Taurus, the North Node in 2003 to 2004, but also 1984 to 86 and 1966 to 67. So if you're born during one of those time periods, you're in what's called a nodal return. And if you're in a nodal return, it is a very intense time. It happens every 18 years. So the first one we get is when we're 18, which is a huge time of stepping into your own path, right? And so the North Node is like your dharma, your path. And of course we don't get there at 18, but a big first kind of like something comes in around 18. And then again, the next 18 years. So hi, if you're just joining me. We're talking about the nodes, and the North Node just moved into Taurus. The South Node just moved into Scorpio. And so these themes around the earth, fertility, also curious to see what happens to the conversation around climate change and things like that, because there is this opportunity for that to be kind of capitalized on, a lot of profit being made around certain things around this theme. This is going to be a bigger theme in the next 2 years and 18 months, and we're going to be hearing about it. But we're also going to be seeing a lot purging and clearing from that Scorpio house. So secrets, the occult, mysteries that were unknown will start to unravel and will start to be shown things. If we think about where we've been the last 18 months, we were purging the South Node from Sagittarius. Yes, it's confusing. The nodes move backwards through the signs, just to confuse you a little more on the astrology. But with that South Node in Sagittarius, we were clearing and cleansing a lot of the political system, the government. A lot of people had a lot of experiences that were unexpected around maybe voting outside of what they historically always voted in a certain identity of politics, and voted outside of that system. Or Sagittarius also has to do with truth and higher truth, and so a lot of people were confused. And for years, like I know for me, I used to listen to NPR for years and years and years. And then with this transit of the South Node in Sagittarius, I was like, oh, wait, they're funded by Big Pharma. I'm like, oh, wow, what a bummer. Like different things coming through that you're like, I never thought about that. So higher truths coming through in these last 18 months, political information and government truths coming through that are purging and uncomfortable. And now we're moving into the Scorpio South Node, where we're going to have the purging having to do more with what's hidden, what's below the surface, what's below that. Follow the money, right? So that whole term follow the money is very much this polarity point of Taurus, Scorpio. They both have to do with money. Taurus has to do with what's ours, like what's mine versus what's yours, and then therefore what's ours. When this all comes up, you can guarantee there's going to be some fear, panic, beliefs, and issues around these themes. Throw in Uranus and Taurus right there with it, and it's going to be very unexpected. So just, if you're in a place of like weirdness and fear of the future, just remember that in a moment, things can shift. In a moment, Uranus, things can totally shift. And so to have that frame of awareness, especially in your Taurus house, wherever that is, it gives you great opportunity to open up and to expand to the possibility into miracles, okay? So this is really important moving into this time period because there's so many unknowns, and once you get to these higher truths where you're like, oh, I don't know what I believe anymore. I don't know who I align with. During this time, it offers the opportunity to kind of solidify your values, who you are, where you come from, your morals, and then aligning yourself with situations that are feeding that are nurturing that. So that's just naturally happening. And the more that you know yourself, the more that you're going to feel aligned this year. So doing this self-development work is so, so important. A couple of the interesting things to keep in mind as far as dates for this transit for 2022 are April 11th, we'll have Saturn squaring the North Node, South Node. So whenever we see that T-square in the sky and it's with Saturn, it's going to be stirring the pot. And that's also around the time where we have Jupiter at the end of Pisces, possibly just moved into Aries. It's a big time. So April is going to be a huge month. And we want to look to, since that Saturn is in Aquarius, we'll want to lean into our Leo, our courage, our playfulness, those kind of things during that time. April 30th, we have the eclipse season starting in Taurus, Scorpio through May 16th. So it'll be an eclipse season. July 31st, my birthday, Uranus is exactly conjunct the North Node at 18 degrees of Taurus. So look at where that conjunction's happening in your chart. It's sure to be exciting and unexpected. And then October 25th through November 8th, we're in eclipse season again with this energy. And then finally, I think that's it. Okay, that's all I wrote down. There was a couple other little transits with Chiron that we'll have this year, because Chiron is also, wanting to throw in a few little important nuggets around our own identity and who we are. Again, back to that Taurus, like in order to know what we have to give or to offer or to keep, we have to know who we are. And that's that Chiron and Aries transit that we're in right now. So all that being said, look to your Taurus house, look to your Scorpio house, and this transit is going to be massive for everyone, but specifically if you have fixed placements. A lot of you have Pluto and Scorpio. It's going to be a big time of purging and healing past lifetimes. You ready to do that work? That's what I'm here for. It's involved in my coaching. We do the astrology, we do past life healing, we do all sorts of somatic and embodiment pieces to bring you into present time and be successful in the here and now. There's so many transits that I could talk about. If you have them in your chart, it's going to be a big time for, but pay attention to those fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you have planets or placements there, you're going to want to really open to the miracles coming through. It's been a rough year for fixed signs, and it's going to continue to be in 2022, but we want to open to those miracles and that possibility. And that being said, I'm hosting a free workshop for the new moon in Aquarius. It's also the Lunar New Year. It is a vision board and we're doing a very feng shui vision board workshop on January 30th, which is a Sunday. And I do not have a link for it up yet. It just came through today that I want to do this. North Node in Aries. That is interesting. Look at where Chiron is transiting that. And you can do that on astro.com. Okay, so this workshop that we're doing is free. I'll have the link up tomorrow, so just check back. And when I post this video, I'll hope to have it up in the comments so you can tap into that. And so fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Yeah, so if you have any of those, hi Molly, how are you? If you have any of those like planets in any of those signs, or your ascendant, your midheaven, your IC, I have all of those in fixed signs along with my sun and my moon. But yeah, if you have any of those, that's what we're talking about, the fixed signs. Hi Shane. Okay, so I want to wrap it up. If you missed this video, go back and watch it. You might find a nugget that's helpful to you in the coming months. But I do want to remind you that if you've been wanting to do some work with me, I'm doing a free workshop on January 30th. We're going to be doing some manifestation for this year around doing our vision board, a feng shui vision board. And there's tons of luck. Miracles and luck are just everywhere I look. So it's a beautiful thing. We're all going through it in our own way, right? So yeah, join me for that. That's happening on January 30th. And then in March, I'm hosting an amazing life-altering experience that is feminine leadership. We're going through your archetypes and your astrology to tap into your feminine leadership. All of the archetypes of the feminine are there for you to explore, and they're all very active in your chart. So we look at your chart to see where and what is coming through for you around that archetype, so you can tap into and activate that energy within your system so that you can be the biggest version of you, so that you can own your power finally and step into your purpose in a bigger way. So if you're I didn't grab water. If you're ready for this year to be your year around feminine leadership, reach out. The link is in my profile. I have early registration up until February 3rd, and I hope to see you there. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and thank you for being here.